Indoor air quality and mental health. How everyday spaces affect mood and well-being. Imagine spending hours in a stuffy room, sharing the space with others, breathing in stale air. It's not just uncomfortable. This common situation can impact mental clarity, emotional balance, and even long-term mental health. Poor indoor air quality due to high levels of carbon dioxide, CO2, pollutants from furniture, or even unventilated heating can contribute to mood disorders like anxiety and depression. Here's how it works, along with simple ways to make a difference in our everyday spaces. The effect of CO2 and pollutants on mood and mental clarity, room size, number of people, and ventilation. In closed spaces, CO2 levels rise quickly, especially if the room is small, filled with people, and has poor ventilation. When CO2 levels reach 1,000 parts per million, ppm, compared to a lower 600 ppm, cognitive abilities like concentration and memory can dip by 15%. In fact, studies have shown that exposure to even moderate increases in CO2 can cause headaches, fatigue, and lower mood, affecting our productivity and overall outlook. Gas heaters and oxygen levels. Many indoor heaters, especially gas-powered ones, consume oxygen while producing CO2. In a tightly sealed room, this can deplete oxygen, causing feelings of drowsiness or even dizziness. The lack of fresh air further reduces oxygen levels, making it harder to think clearly and stay focused. Without proper ventilation, CO2 buildup is inevitable, creating an environment that negatively impacts mood and health. Mood swings and emotional sensitivity. When indoor CO2 levels are high, or VOCs and PM2.5 accumulate, it's not just about feeling tired or sluggish. These pollutants can contribute to mood swings, irritability, and emotional sensitivity. Research has shown that poor air quality doesn't just decrease cognitive function, it also heightens emotional responses. This might mean that a small inconvenience or a stressful moment could feel overwhelming, sparking frustration or anger that seems out of proportion to the situation. For example, studies on CO2 and particulate matter exposure have found that people in poorly ventilated environments report higher levels of frustration, lower tolerance, and more frequent mood swings. Imagine a busy, low ventilation office or classroom where small issues, like a loud noise or someone cutting in line, might trigger a stronger than usual reaction. Over time, this emotional intensity adds up, leading to a more consistently tense or reactive mental state. Anger and intolerance. Prolonged exposure to low-quality air can leave us feeling tense, contributing to anger and intolerance that's hard to explain. When our bodies and minds are in a low-grade state of discomfort, we become less patient and more prone to irritation. Anger and intolerance can arise from repeated exposure to poor indoor air conditions, creating a cycle where we feel increasingly drained and sensitive to our surroundings, yet unable to pinpoint the cause. Perception distortion. Breathing in stale air and pollutants affects not only emotions, but also how we perceive situations and others. Poor air quality can blur our perception, making us more likely to interpret neutral expressions or comments as negative, causing misunderstandings and heightened sensitivity to criticism. Imagine trying to complete a task in a poorly ventilated room. Irritability can easily skew our perception, making us feel more scrutinized or undervalued, even if this isn't the case. Strategies for managing emotional impact. Addressing these effects doesn't always require a major overhaul. Small actions can help curb these emotional swings and negative perceptions. Practice regular mindful breathing, taking intentional slow breaths, especially during high-stress moments, can counteract shallow breathing and alleviate some of the emotional reactivity tied to poor air quality. Designate fresh air breaks. A few minutes of fresh air each hour can make a noticeable difference. Opening a window or stepping outside provides a mental reset, helping release built-up tension and promoting a calmer outlook. Check in with self-perception. When irritability or frustration sets in, take a mental step back and recognize that the indoor environment could be influencing your reaction. Practicing self-compassion and knowing the source of these feelings can reduce the intensity of these responses. By bringing these subtle emotional effects to awareness, we better understand how our environment affects our inner world. Taking practical steps to improve indoor air quality and checking in with ourselves can transform a challenging day into one that feels more balanced, productive, and genuinely positive. Volatile organic compounds, VOCs, from everyday objects, many common household items such as cleaning supplies, paints, and furniture, release VOCs, chemicals that can irritate the eyes, throat, and lungs. Studies show that people exposed to higher levels of VOCs experience 20% more symptoms of psychological distress, including anxiety and irritability. Imagine sitting in a newly painted room or using strong-smelling cleaning products regularly. Without proper ventilation, these pollutants can build up and subtly affect our mood and mental health. The role of particulate matter, PM2.5, in depression and anxiety. When tiny particles known as PM2.5 accumulate indoors, they can infiltrate the respiratory system and even enter the bloodstream, where they affect overall health. Research has shown that a 10 UGM3 increase in PM2.5 exposure is associated with a 10% increase in depressive symptoms and 12% more anxiety. Cooking indoors without adequate ventilation, burning candles, or using certain air fresheners can all add PM2.5 to the air we breathe. Over time, repeated exposure can contribute to long-term changes in mood and increase the risk of mood disorders. Simple habits and space adjustments that matter. Improving air quality and maintaining a healthy mental space isn't as complicated as it sounds. By making simple adjustments to how we breathe, sit, and manage our indoor environments, we can greatly reduce these risk factors. Posture and breathing. Good posture allows for full, deep breaths, maximizing oxygen intake. Poor posture, especially when sitting for long periods, leads to shallow breathing, meaning we take in less oxygen. Practicing mindful breathing with full inhales and slow exhales helps counteract the buildup of CO2 and promotes relaxation, reducing anxiety. Nutrition and hydration. Staying hydrated and eating nutrient-rich foods helps the body process pollutants more effectively. Certain nutrients can even help neutralize harmful chemicals in the body, supporting mental clarity and mood stability. Poor hydration can make it difficult for the body to eliminate toxins, compounding the effects of pollutants and making symptoms like headaches and fatigue worse. Ventilation and air purification. Opening windows regularly, even in winter, can be a quick fix for stuffy air. Use exhaust fans or open doors to promote cross-ventilation. Portable air purifiers with HEPA filters can capture PM2.5 and VOCs, reducing their buildup indoors. Regularly letting in fresh air dilutes pollutants and CO2, creating a space where you can think and feel better. Opting for safe heating methods. If you need indoor heating, try to use electric options rather than unvented gas heaters, which consume oxygen and release CO2. If gas heaters are necessary, make sure the room is well ventilated with windows open slightly to allow for fresh airflow. Choose low VOC products. Whenever possible, select paints, cleaning products, and furniture that are low in VOCs. These products emit fewer harmful chemicals, reducing the likelihood of mood disturbances and respiratory issues. Making mindful changes for mental health and clarity. Small adjustments in your living and working spaces can lead to significant improvements in mental clarity, emotional stability, and overall well-being. By enhancing indoor air quality through better ventilation, mindful breathing, safe heating, and reducing pollutants, we create spaces that not only feel better but also support mental health in the long term. We appreciate you being here with us, HIW.